Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's try this again. It is your boy, the Bad Diggity Dizzler, with another New York Giants video. Sorry about the hiccup there last night. That's what happens when you record a video at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're exhausted. You don't check the levels like I should have, but we're good now. I checked them. We are good. So let's try this again. Appreciate you guys and girls tuning in. Going to do my reaction to Brian Daboll's press conference. And obviously this time around I have heard it, but I really don't remember what he said. So we'll do it again. But hit the like and subscribe. Ring that bell. A lot of Giants content. I can't emphasize that enough. There's going to be a lot of videos, a lot of live streams. And hopefully it's a lot better year, than we had, that it got off to start off to. Whatever the hell I'm trying to say. Hopefully the year is a lot better than the first game. Okay, it can't be worse. Obviously the Giants got their ass handed to them. They were beat down. They were left for dead. They were dragged around MetLife Stadium for 60 minutes, and they were embarrassed. And Coach Daboll has not had a game like that. I mean, I guess he did against Philadelphia a couple of times, but, they always seem to rebound. Obviously, the game last year in the playoffs, they couldn't rebound. It was the last game of the season, but you take a look at the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, in the last two games, they've outscored us 78-7. So that is not good. So which New York Giants team are we? Well, let's hear what Coach Daboll has to say. We're going to bring him in here now. So let's bring Coach Daboll in here, put myself down here. We will make this bigger. And let's see what he has to say. Let's see what Coach Daboll has to say about this stuff, this really bad performance.
Obviously, a tough loss, a disappointing loss. Got beat all the way around from coaching to playing. I accept that. Got a lot to learn from, a lot to work on.
Yeah, pretty obvious. All the way around. Disappointing is a good word for it. There's a lot of other words that I thought of in my post-game video. Just really bad. I mean, there's really nothing. I don't know what else you could say. It's just a really bad performance.
And that's what we'll do. No excuses. Give credit to Dallas. They just did everything better than we did tonight.
On the block field goal. I mean, you guys seem to be kind of humming on offense early on that first drive, and then some things went wrong. What did that series of events that ended that possession and the block field goal, what did that do for the rest of the night for you?
Well, you're gonna have play. You hope you don't have plays like that. You're gonna have some bad ones throughout the game.
Yeah, well, that was a gigantic, no pun intended. It was a giant momentum swing. The Giants look like they were ready to drive for a touchdown, go up 7-0. They are rolling, and then the false start, then the bad snap. And then not only does he have that field goal blocked, Dallas picks it up and scores 6 points with it. The game went a complete 180 from there, and the Giants never seemed to recover, which was a little worrisome, seeing as last year, Daboll's talked about facing adversity going forward, but last year they always seemed to make adjustments, and they always seemed to fight. They fought back against Green Bay. They were down early 17-3. They fought back against Baltimore. They came back to win these games. And it's just like Dallas has their number, and it's kind of like in their head. And as soon as something bad happens, it snowballs. Same thing in Philadelphia. But the block field goal, that can't happen. Just can't have that happen. Special teams has been bad for years here. And it reared its ugly head on Sunday.
That you give up 7 on special teams and you give up 7 on offense. And that's, 14 points right there. And field goal, they missed the extra point. It was 16 points early. Still competing, but just could never really string it together, Mark. Really in any area.
Yeah, I don't really think the Giants competed. I think they competed on that first drive, and then there was really no. I'm not saying they weren't trying, but the competitive nature of the football game was pretty much done after the pick six. I think when it was 16-0, we kind of knew where it was going from there.
7 sacks, I think 12 quarterback hits. What was wrong with the protection?
Well, we got into one of those games as the game went on where we were throwing the ball and they knew we had to throw the ball. We're down a bunch.
Yeah, but Coach, that's not what happened at the beginning of the game. You didn't have to throw the ball a bunch, after they scored 6, because granted, Daniel Jones is still running for his life. They were trying to pass that first drive. Daniel Jones had to keep running out of the pocket and get his own yards, but they were running the ball effectively with Saquon Barkley. They go down 6-0. Okay, that sucks, but You didn't have to go out and abandon the run. I felt like they abandoned the run way too early. I feel like they pressed and panicked early on. And pass blocking is not this offensive line strength, especially against a team like Dallas.
To look at the tape.
Oh. Tell me he didn't just say that. Tell me he didn't just say, we have to look at the tape. We have to look at the tape. Having Joe Judge flashbacks. I got to tell you this. I understand. Listen, Coach Daboll's way smarter than me. I'm never going to sit here and say that I know more than this guy because I certainly don't. I don't. But I don't think you have to look at tape to see your offensive line thoroughly get whooped. I don't think there's tape for that. I think if you're watching this game and you're looking at it, you can see what's going on. The guys on Dallas's front seven are just way better than our offensive line. And it's not just Dallas, it's other teams too. The offensive line is a disaster. Outside of Andrew Thomas, it's just not very good. I don't think you need to look at tape for that. You know, Glowinski got beat all night. Evan Neal got beat all night. Was not good. The right side of that line was horrendous for the Giants. And I don't think you need tape to see that or know that.
For some of the stuff. But, you know, obviously it wasn't good enough.
I guess for some of the stuff, okay. I guess I'll give him a little leeway in that. I still don't think you need to see some of the stuff. I think you got dismantled up there and you got to do better.
No area was good enough tonight, you know, from protection to coaching to running to tackling, whatever it may be, you name it, wasn't good enough.
Did you ever think of taking Daniel out because he took?
Yes. This is the first question that I would have asked. The first question that I would have asked him is about Daniel Jones.
Pretty big beating.
Yeah, no, I was going to let him see it through there just until that last series.
Why?
Try to get something positive going down. We didn't have much going. Just wanted to try to get a positive drive and try to punch the ball into the end zone. But that didn't happen.
All right. Coach Daboll, I love you, right? I have no ill will towards Joe Judge. I have a lot of ill will towards him, towards Brian Daboll. But I'm going to say this. I totally disagree with this. What is the difference if you lose 40-0 or 40-7? You really going to take a meaningless drive? If Dallas gave you that drive at the end of the game, which they kind of were because they were playing their third string guys, if Dallas gives you a give 7 points, are you really building off a 40-7 loss as opposed to 40-0 loss? You paid the guy $160 million. He's getting absolutely killed back there. It's a wet night in MetLife Field. And granted, I'm seeing this now after the Jets game, but you saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers. Do you really want something like that to happen to Daniel Jones for a meaningless touchdown in a game which you got your brains beat in? I don't understand it. And I mentioned Joe Judge, and the reason I mentioned Joe Judge is this. Joe Judge's first year, I really like what Joe Judge did, and I didn't really question a lot of it, but I did question one thing, and it was about Daniel Jones. The Giants are losing like 19-3 or 20-3 going into the half, whatever it was. Arizona was killing us, and it was obvious that Daniel Jones was not healthy. He was limping off the field. He had a hamstring or a groin injury, and it was obvious he was laboring, and we were getting killed. And I remember Chris and I doing a stream saying, just bench him the rest of the game, just keep him healthy. And they didn't. They brought him back out there, and then he had to miss in a couple of games. So luckily for Coach Daboll, Daniel Jones did not get hurt, because if he did, there would have been a lot more questions than the one he's being asked now. I like Coach Daboll. Again, he's way smarter than I am. I'm not going to sit here and say I know more football than Coach Daboll. I'm just a fan. I'm just an average guy on YouTube. That's all I am. I am no aficionado. The only thing I know about football is from what I watched for the last 40 years. I know the basic concepts. I'm not going to break down blocking schemes. I'm not going to break down audibles. I'm not going to break down film. I don't try to do that. I don't pretend to try to do that. But what I do know is 40-0 and 40-7 are, in essence, the same thing. If you would have scored 7 points and the quarterback would have got hurt, it would have been worth it. That is there is no reward for a very high-risk situation. And this is the one thing I take umbrage with Coach Daboll, because I know last year a lot of us did not want Adoree Jackson returning punts. He did, and he got hurt. So, like I said, I'm not sitting here trying to disrespect Coach Daboll. I don't agree with that decision, and I'm just telling you my opinion on it. I don't like the answer. I don't accept the answer. I don't understand the answer. I will never understand why Daniel Jones is in there. That's just my opinion there. You can let me know what you think as well.
It seemed like kind of a rough night for your rookies tonight, their first timers. Did you? I mean, obviously without.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at it, Mark. I'd have to go back and look at it.
See, that I can accept. That I can accept. I thought Tay Banks played well. You know, he had cramps. Hyatt obviously dropped the pass. John Michael Schmidt had an up and down. Like the snap obviously is going to, sit there and you're going to think about the snap. Eric Gray didn't do much. You knew he wouldn't. But I understand him saying he's got to go back. If he's going to evaluate a player, you would have to look at some tape for that.
What's your concern level with the offensive line at this point, particularly the right side seemed to have it?
Yeah, I'd say like there's we got a lot of work to do in every area, Jordan, not just the offensive line. Every area on the field, from coaching to offense to defense to the kicking game, and that's what we'll do.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I'm not the biggest Jordan Renan fan. We know that. I don't think Coach Daboll is either. But he poses a good question. Daboll kind of, avoided it. They do have to do work everywhere. That was pretty obvious. They got beat down. They got stone cold stunnered, rock bottom. They got tombstone pile driven. They got choke slam. They got put in the sharpshooter. They got sweet chin music. Whatever wrestling analogy you want to use here. That's what happened to the Giants. But it's a good question. The right side of this offensive line has been bad for years, and it was bad before these guys got here. But the problem is they drafted Evan Neal, and he's not looking any better. He probably looks worse. Glowinski, they gave him a contract or whatever. They kept him around, and he sucks. The offensive line is the biggest problem with this team, in my opinion. There is problems. They still got to work through some stuff, but that's the biggest issue.
There's a lot of talk after last season about bridging the gap between you guys and the others in the division. Are you worried at all about what a loss like this could do, big picture and long term?
Yeah, no, I'm focused on trying to improve, and there's a lot to improve on. So, it's one game. It wasn't a good game. Don't sugarcoat it. It was a bad game, and
it sucked.
It's on me, and we'll work to get the things we need to get fixed, which is certainly plenty of things.
See, I like that he's taking accountability, though. That's something the previous regime did not do. He's taking accountability. It's on me, and it is on him. It's on everybody else, too. But to me, it didn't look like these guys were ready for Dallas.
What was your message to them?
Just that. Yeah, just that.
Do you think any changes need to be made on the offensive line?
Yeah, look, we got skunked here 40-0. So there's, when you play a game like that and coach a game like that, there's nothing that's good enough. And our job is to go back and, look at it with a critical eye, just like we would do in any game. But, 40-0 is not a good score, obviously. So a lot to work on, and that's what we'll do.
Yeah, no, that's an understatement. They have a ton to work on. But he is right. It's one game. It sucks. It was against Dallas. Dallas has owned us. It's a division game. Everybody else in the division won a game. But at the end of the day, this counts as one loss. There's no style points in the NFL. It's not like the Giants were ranked third and they lost their college playoff because they got beat 40-0 as opposed to 24-23. There was no power rankings. Giants just have to go back and get it together and win in Arizona, be 1-1, and then go from there. You don't forget this, but you put it out of your mind for now. You work on it for next time we play Dallas.
Is there anything you can take away from Daniel's play?
Yeah, I just say in every area we weren't good enough, and I'll take that.
So he's saying Daniel didn't play well. Nobody played well. The one thing I got from this game is, if you didn't already know, and I know Daniel Jones is going to get it. I've already seen it all over social media. I already see guys killing Daniel Jones. He paid $160 million, blah, 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 blah. He got an elite deal. You didn't get an elite deal. He got like a mid deal. Everybody says Daniel Jones is mid. His deal is middle of the road. He got $160 million. Joe Burrow just got $275 million. And when Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields get paid, Daniel Jones will be like the 16th highest paid quarterback in the league. The only guys that make less than Jones are guys like Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr, and guys that are 35 and 40 years old and rookies. So I don't know where people are getting. He got elite money. He got a lot of money. All quarterbacks do. One thing I got out of this game, though, if you know, Daniel Jones is one tough son of a bitch. You got to give him that much.
Did you have any issues with the effort in the second half? You seemed like they came out kind of flat.
No, I mean they went down and drove right down the field. But those guys, look, those guys are competitors. Obviously the result didn't show tonight, but no, like that's not us. That's not us just to, insinuate that someone's not giving effort. Everybody gives balls out effort.
Balls out.
We just didn't do a good enough job executing.
Another Joe Judge word.
But I don't question that. Not ever.
Well, see, I can see this. Coach knows his players better than I do, better than the media does, or whatever. But when you are looking at it from outside, it did look like the body language is very poor. And especially after Dallas went down, the body language is bad. The effort did look bad. They look flat. I guess when you're getting drubbed to 40-0, when you're getting dog walked like Dallas did to us last night, like they have done in years previous, these guys are human. It does seep in at some point. I can't imagine as a professional athlete that makes millions of dollars, you are supposed to give 110% effort on every play. But at the end of the day, they're human. I'm not trying to make mistakes excuses for these guys. But I think maybe a little of that did set in when they know they lost. But in the second half, they did look flat. I'm not saying that they didn't give effort. Like I said, coach knows better. And if that was the case, he would address it. But from the media standpoint, for the people watching it, it did look like they let up a lot and didn't really give maximum effort. They looked flat. Flat was a good word for it. As flat as the medium soda that the Giants gave out a couple of years ago.
Did he catch you
Coach Daboll was not happy with that question if you saw his eyes.
by surprise? How basically all the operations on all three sides kind of failed?
Yeah, look, I'd say it again, Pat, wasn't good enough in any area. So a lot to work on, and that's what we'll do.
But it's weird to me because it was off kilter the entire night. Like, it didn't look smooth. This is a team that supposedly practiced really well. They had months to prepare for Dallas, and they came out and they looked unprepared, or maybe they were a little full of themselves. They were a little arrogant. They were a little cocky. It's one thing for a guy like me to believe the hype and be cocky and arrogant and think we're going to win. I'm a fan. I don't play. It's another thing for a player to believe their own hype and come out a little cocky and arrogant. And if they did do that, and I'm not saying they did, you get humbled real quick. Maybe that knocks them back to reality. And we get back to the way we did it last year, where we grind out wins and we don't take anybody for granted. And they certainly can't take the Cardinals for granted.
How did Darren come through the game? I mean,
I think he
where everybody else was at, just precaution, or
he made it through. He made it through. Yeah, I think the only thing I got coming in here was Banks had cramps, in both.
Honestly, kind of was slipping off a bunch.
He fought it through. I think he had a little bit of a hammy going in there. I gotta go find out what exactly it was, but he was, he was fighting through. Again, look, there's no excuses on anything when you lose 40-0. Nothing's good enough, and I'll own that.
Again, the fact he owns it is good. And yeah, Andrew Thomas obviously has a hamstring issue. I would not play him against Arizona. He'd come back in a short week against San Francisco. Again, I'm not trying to take Arizona lightly here, because with the way the Giants played on Sunday, they certainly can't take anybody lightly. But you want Andrew Thomas 100% against San Francisco. Because if you think Dallas's defense is tough, well, you got another type of defense like that waiting for you in San Francisco on a short week in San Fran on prime time again.
Okay.
I think he is, but I haven't checked with those guys just yet.
Right, a loss like this can be kind of deflating. How do you keep the guys from getting too down over a loss like this?
Girl Patty. Be live with Patty tomorrow.
Well, this league is humbling. It's a humbling league. I've said this many a times. It's the same thing as if you have a big win, not getting too high. This is an emotional game. Guys put everything they have into it. They prepared well. We practiced well, and we didn't put it together today. On every area, from, like I said, offense, defense, coaching, special teams, whatever you name it. When you get 40-0, there's a lot of blame to go around, and I'll take the head of it.
It's a good question, my Patty, though, because again, it can be deflating. You come off a great year, you come in with a lot of exuberance and excitement, and maybe some higher expectations than you would have previously thought. And then you do get smacked back to reality and lose 40-0 to Dallas. So you hope that a loss like that doesn't linger. But if you're going to be any kind of, have some kind of mental toughness, and you think that you're a playoff team and you're moving in the right direction, you have to rebound. And like I said, put it out of your head and worry about Dallas the next time we play Dallas. Can't worry about that game now. It's in the past.
You said looking at things with a critical eye.
Yeah.
Would you reevaluate your processes?
Well, you do that every
how
week.
you got
Pat.
to this.
That's what you do as a head coach. You evaluate processes every week, whether you have 5 wins in a row, get blown out 40-0, have an off season. Every day after every game, you sit down and you evaluate processes. That's what you do as a coaching staff. It's been like that ever since I've been in coaching.
What is it about Dallas that's kind of giving you guys issues this last year and a half or last year?
Last year, I'm not worried about. This year, we had issues with every area we could have issues with tonight.
That's a fact. But, what Coach Daboll needs to say, and anybody that watches the game knows, we have issues at the line of scrimmage, both getting a pass rush on Dak Prescott and certainly curtailing the pass rush on Daniel Jones. Now, whether that they have to figure out some kind of blocking schemes, or they got to roll Daniel Jones out of the pocket, where they have to start running some misdirections or quick bubble screens or reverses or something. They've got to do something different, because just lining up against those guys man on man is not working. They are definitely more man than we are up front, and that showed the last couple of years. Now, I like it. You can't worry about last year. Last year's last year. That's not the same team as this year, but you got to do better.
You guys got kind of booed as you were going off the field there at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't playing well.
Yeah, fans, listen, you pay all that money, you pay a shitload of money for concessions, parking, you sit in crappy weather, it's raining, nobody's happy, it's miserable up here in the Northeast right now with the rain and everything else. And then, like I said, when I was making my post-game video, people were probably sitting in traffic. So it's just a miserable experience for a Giants fan, and they deserve to boo the team. They did not. They're not booing the players. They're booing the performance. And like Coach Daboll said, they weren't playing well.
Take a couple more. In the first quarter, you had to burn 2 timeouts for the substitution problems. I mean, how concerning was just the field operation?
Yeah.
That is a great question. That is a great question. And the reason the timeout, and it's something I overlooked at first. Again, these are little things that don't show up in the box score. Yeah, it's first half timeouts. You don't so much worry about first half timeouts, supposedly, but it can come back to hurt you. But these are things that the Giants did not do last year. All the little things they did properly. You know, it was rare that you saw a delay a game, or the play clock winding down, because Daniel Jones get to the line of scrimmage with 18 seconds to go, and that way you could check off the audibles. You could do this. You could read the defense. You could do a lot of things. In this game, twice, they were delayed getting substitutions on and off the field. That's execution. Those are little things. That goes back to coaching. That type of stuff can't happen. Listen, the Giants have more talent than they did last year. I truly believe that. I believe we're a better team. I believe that was just an anomaly. It was a really bad game, and Dallas did everything well. We did everything poorly. I'm not saying we're as good as Dallas. That pretty much showed. I thought we were going into the year, but I'm not so sure now. Dallas is really good. However, when you're the Giants and you don't have maybe the talent of some of these other teams, you can't force your own mistake. Like, you can't shoot yourself in the foot. Like, you can't have unforced errors. The timeouts is just another thing that they did bad last night. They did everything bad. Not last night, sorry, Sunday.
Like I said before, everything wasn't good enough from the get-go. That's why I get beat 40-0. Now, that's my responsibility.
See, again, the previous regime would have never taken responsibility for it. And I don't know how many times Coach Daboll said, I'll take it. I'll take the head of it. I'll take the brunt of it. It's my responsibility. Accountability, man. If you don't hold yourself accountable, if you blame everybody else, you're never going to fix yourself. So good on him.
Did that surprise you that it didn't work like that? Because it is your second year. There were a decent number of players coming back. It was like this was all brand new with new players and stuff.
In what regard?
It surprised you that you had some of those operational issues, some of the hiccups?
Yeah, there was one miscommunication, on the offensive side, and then they ran people out. We ran people out, didn't get out in time, so took a timeout. So you never want those, and that's on our end. So those are, the multitude of things that we got to clean up.
They do anything with their pass rusher, Michael Parsons, that kind of.
Yeah, they had him inside. I mean,
Not surprised with it.
they had him inside. They had him outside.
They usually do that.
They put him everywhere. But, they did a good job. Give them credit. We didn't. And that's really what it is.
Daniel, what's the level?
All right, I'm going to end it there because I'm just going to do the Coach Daboll thing. But listen, man, if you guys want me to do, post games where I do Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley, whoever they interview, let me know in the comments section. Listen, again, I appreciate you watching this far. Like I said, man, it's one game. It sucked. We got wrecked in that game, and hopefully we can come out of it and get a win in Arizona. For the most part, I agree with everything Coach Daboll said. I like the way he handled it. I liked his answers. I will never understand the Daniel Jones thing, though. He can say what he wants. In my honest opinion, that was a mistake. You can't chance Daniel Jones getting hurt. It's not like last year. I mean, not that you'd want to leave him in there to get hurt, but with him being, becoming a free agent, if he did get hurt, you could have wiped yourself clean of him and just said, whatever, he's not our guy. We're going to go in a different direction. The fact that you just gave him 4 years and $160 million and then backloaded the contract, there was nothing to gain by getting a meaningless touchdown when you were down 40-0. I'm going to stand by that. You let me know what you think in the comments section. And again, sorry that I had to redo this because my microphone sucked, but we got it together. And listen, they had hiccups. I had hiccups. It is the beginning of the season. We'll get it together. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It's Bad Diggity Dizzle, and I'm out. Peace.